All right. Well, cool. Welcome, guys. Hey, my name is Chris Cook. And for those of you who don't know, some of you are brand new agents and probably meeting for the very first time. I live here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm direct Symmetry Financial Group. Little brief story. I love starting out a new agent call, just letting you guys know a little bit of the story, how I got started here with Symmetry. I was working in another company inside the mortgage protection industry, and I was making decent income, and I decided, man, I don't know if some of you guys have ever been working somewhere in your life and you just thought, man, I've hit that ceiling, that glass ceiling that we all sort of hit in life sometimes, and just like, man, I got nowhere else to go where I'm at my current company. And so I started looking around, looking at a couple of different options in the insurance industry, and I'd heard about Symmetry Financial and the great things they were doing. They were a very small company at the time. They were 10 times smaller than they are today. The big, huge company you guys see today, they were like 10 times smaller. And I took a leap of faith. I left the company. I was making decent income. I was making around $162,000 a year, and I left cold turkey. I was still making that income. I had a 4-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a wife. This is going to be our only source of income. So I was nervous as heck, number one. And I was like, man, nope. I know this is my ceiling. I can't go any further in this company. What can I do to go out there and find a better mortgage protection plan, things that are going on where I can help more families, and then as a byproduct of that, service more families, and then also make more income for my family. And then also ultimately what I wanted to do is build a business. And Symmetry certainly has that model, and I'm going to teach you guys some of that before we get off the phone here today. What I can say, results do matter. And man, it's been wonderful. We've had over our career here, we've been able to help a lot of people become people that have started their own businesses here. And that was a huge blessing, because one thing I wanted was business ownership when I came here. I didn't just want to be a personal producer. And I'm not going to teach any of you, if you're new agents, if I care about you, I'm going to teach you just to be a personal producer, because I think this company has way more to offer than just personal production. Am I going to teach you personal production today? Yes, I'm going to give you some key tidbits that if you go and apply to your business, it's going to make a difference. But I can tell you, my first 6 weeks here at Symmetry Financial, I wrote $42,000 in production. So I was averaging a little bit over $6,600 a week or something like that in personal production. So everything that you guys go through as personal producers, and all of that was on bonus leads. They were anywhere between $8 a lead down to 50 cents a lead. Most of mine at that time, I was doing the $3 leads down to 50 cents. I got tons of no's. So some of you getting on the phone for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, I got no's. And I'm like, hey, welcome to the crowd. I did too. I suck. It's okay. We all sort of do when we first start. It's the old adage, you got to be a caterpillar to be a butterfly. And I was able to develop that, but it took me a while to be able to develop it. But keep in mind, even while what I lacked in skill during that time, and this is a great teaching point, what I lacked in skill, and if you're taking notes out there, I encourage you to take notes. What I lacked in skill, I made up for in activity. I really wasn't that good. But I will say, after 6 months of working with Symmetry Financial, if you're looking for results, I was able to put $60,000 in my bank account with all bills paid. Didn't mean I just made $60,000. It means I put an additional $60,000 in my bank account with all bills paid, on top of everything else that I was investing in the business, investing in leads. So you can get those type of results. I ended up, because results do matter, and I am going to tell you about results, ended up making in my first 11 months $193,000. Over my first year is $211,000. And I tell you that not to brag. I tell you that because even being as bad as I was able to create a really good income here just by simply following the Symmetry system that I'm going to lay out for you guys today. What I wanted you guys to know with that story is that I did it. Meaning, if you just follow what Symmetry teaches you, just like I did, and you're disciplined enough to control your schedule, you guys can get there too. And it doesn't mean that you have to make $211,000 in your first calendar year. It doesn't. I'm not saying that. Some of you may want to just make $500 extra a month for you and your family, and that's beautiful. We want to teach you how to do that. Some of you may be like, no, I want to make $50,000 a month. Great part is we can teach you to do that too. You just got to be willing to follow the numbers and follow the system that we're going to lay forth to you today. So just make sure you're taking notes. And one of the things I always did on meetings like this, man, I didn't put any distractions in my background. I sat there, I started taking notes, and I started applying this stuff to the business. And if you're out there, I'd love for you to unmute, like put your camera up. I want to see your faces today. I want you to see my face. I want to see your face. So if you're out there, I want to see it. I want to see you taking notes. Hey, I'm telling you, you got to make a difference in your business, difference in some people's lives. Act like it's important, because it is important, right? Don't just play around with this thing, because this business will pay back to you how important you treat it. And if you're unmuted, just make sure you mute yourself for right now. We'll be able to open up the phone lines later. Sorry, I've got an iPhone here that's unmuted. All right, but I think I got everybody muted now. All right. So,
if you want to make me co-host, I can mute people as they come in.
I'm good. I'll mute them, but I'm not going to let them unmute themselves. So I'm going to take care of it. So guys, make sure you keep yourself muted, and we're going to get rocking and rolling. So appreciate you guys. So most important thing, you want to be able to make money here, guys. You want to be able to make a difference in your business career here. Here's what I'm going to say, guys, is you got to get good on the phone. You absolutely have to get good on the phone. That's the most important thing that when I got here, I focused on. I had to get good on the phone. And if you see anybody here that really makes a difference in their career, they get good on the phone. DJ Robinson is an excellent part of that right there, guys. DJ Robinson, when he got here, he this past week, he made 1,005 dials. He's averaging over $600, $700, $800 a week. He's in his first 4 months with us. Now, has he got great results? Absolutely. He's earned $1,000 a month bonus. I mean, that is cool. Beyond what he's been paid from his personal production, he's writing $8,000 to $10,000 a week, and he just started in this industry, just like a lot of you. Like a lot of you. What he lacked in skill, he made up for in activity. So I just encourage you guys, understand it all starts on the phone. It all starts with activity on the phone. And I want you to write this down. When we talk about massive action, constant correction, when we talk about massive action in our organization, here's what I would teach you guys. Just understand simply this. 400, 600 plus dials a week is like the standard now. That's where you need to be to create a skill for you guys to be able to go out and build you a business or build your personal production career. Here is $400 to $600 a week minimum. Put that down. So if you're taking notes, $400 to $600 a week minimum. Not that's where you stop. That's minimum. And because what you lack in skill, you make up for in activity, because that's the most important thing. If you want to help families and help your family as a byproduct of that, that's one of the biggest things. So not enough dials. Here's another key component of understanding this business. We track people making dials. We track fast people. We track slow people. We track everything in between. And we found this metrics to be true. That people on average, we didn't take the very fastest, we didn't take the slowest, we took the average. On average, will average 30 to 35 dials per hour, whether the client answers or not. So when you're tracking yourself, Camille out there, Savannah, Jeremy, as you start your career, track yourself. Every 30 to 35 dials equals 1 hour of work. You with me? Equals 1 hour of work. And don't fool yourself. Some people at the end of the day will be like, whew, I'm tired. And how many dials do you make today? And you know, the people that don't track it, they always say bunch, a whole lot. Been on the phone all day, matter of fact. And then we'll ask them, we'll say, hey, can you track it tomorrow and give us a specific number? And they track it the next day and they'll send us a number like, hey, I made 47. And they look at us like, and I'm like, realize if you made 47 dials and it takes 30 to 35 dials an hour, if we track the numbers, that you probably worked about an hour and 20 minutes. And And don't make the mistake of the average salesperson here at Symmetry. The average salesperson here at Symmetry works 10 to 12 hours a week. So if you want to be above average, work more than that. Be more disciplined. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you write 42,000 in your first 6 weeks? And it's like, because I didn't want to be average. You know what I mean? I wanted to work above average. And if you guys are wanting those type of results, keep in mind, that's who we're talking to. You got to put in that effort. And that's the reason we're saying $400 to $600 a week minimum. Write that down. I want to give it to you visually because I love visualization. Here's the thing, like on this right here. Well, action step for starting out, guys. Hey, dials, $400 to $600 a week minimum. Amount of leads, we're going to refer to a cheat sheet here in a second. Appointments, remember, you're looking for results from dials. Obviously, you're looking to being able to run enough appointments. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Number 2 reason, though, so you think I've hit on that enough? I pray I have. So number 1 reason people don't make it in this business, not enough dials. 30, 35 dials an hour minimum. Keep in mind, how disciplined enough were you to your last boss? Did you give them 30, 40, 50 hours a week? Can you give you and your business 40 hours a week? You and your family's dream, can you give that? If you're part-time, can you give this business 20 hours a week? Think about it. Think about it. It's all we're asking. Give the same discipline to you, your family, and your dream that you gave your last boss, and use that metric. Number 2 is they don't stick to the phone script. They come here, they look at the phone script, and I've seen people do this before that I've mentored directly. They're like, oh, I like this. I don't like this. And they're erasing little parts of it. And then they read it back to me. And it's like, hello, they are not even close to the phone script. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. People that have done this business for 10, 15, 20 years have really honed down those little specific things that psychologically you wouldn't understand, that the reason they're saying those things during the phone script, but they're so very important that you say them because it's good to filter out the wrong people that you need to actually set appointments with and the right people that you need to set appointments with. And so those little nuances are already built in there by people that have seen massive success here at Symmetry Financial Group. So we do ask, as you work with any of your new agent mentors or your upline here with us in our group, is like, number 1 thing, stick to the phone script. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I promise you. I came here, I had the phone script in front of me. Every time I made a dial, I was awkward. It's okay. You'll get better. That's the reason you make those $400 to $600 a week. Just understand that is vitally important. So to reiterate, 2 reasons people don't make it on the phone, which is the most important thing. 1, not enough dials. You can control that. You can control that. That's what's beautiful. Nobody else can. And number 2, they don't stick to the phone script. And just remember, as I give you a little quiz here, what's the minimum expectation of dials per week? Anybody want to flash me out Camille, you got it, 400 to 600 dials a week, right? Deja, you got it there. You flashed it out to me. I love it. I love it. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Just hear my heart where it is right there. Because if you guys want to make a great business model here, that's going to be huge for you. Part-time or full, make that commitment and you will get so much better, so much quicker. A couple of other key tips I'm going to give you right here. As you're making dials, this is all on the phone right here. Notice we're building a business model for you. Triple dial. Hey, one of the best lessons I learned, and you parents out there are going to love this because parents will get this. What do? You get a phone call from a stranger, you look at it, every one of you going to do exactly what I do because I still do it to this day. Boop, red button. Somebody calls you right back, you're going to look at it again. I don't know who this joker is, keeps calling me. Boop, red button again, right? Camille's with me. Hey, you want to answer that phone? Leave me a voicemail. Somebody leave me a voicemail, right? And then they call again. I'm like, man, Reese and Noah, that's my 2 little boys. One's 8 and one's 11. I'm like, son of a mother, let's go. Maybe that's the babysitters or maybe that's the school calling. Hello? And then somebody's on the other line. Hey, this is, and we're into our phone script. And a lot of you out there, one of the biggest misnomers you're going to think is like, oh, people are mad. They're not. Remember, you're not you're really not in sales. And that's sort of it's a weird thing to say, but to me, you're not in sales. People are requesting coverage from you. And the only way you can help them, Jordan, just give me a head nod. You ever sold anybody you never talked to? Right. So you got to talk to them, and your job is to get a hold of them. Like, it's so crazy to me. Well, I don't want to bug them. And it's like, well, what's the alternative? Not helping them? I'm like, that's a bad business plan. I promise you, I've never written anybody I've not talked to. Hey, and it's okay if they tell me no. What's not okay is I never called them enough to get that no. You with me? Like, I just hear my heart there, folks, is your job is just to get a hold of them. Get a hold of them and get your yes and no and move on with life. It's okay. But where the tragedy happens a lot of times in this business is people, they say, lad, well, I don't want to call them that earlier. I don't want to call them that late. I'm like, why not? You got a hold of them? No. Then how are you going to help them? Hello. You got to get a hold of them, folks. You got to get a hold of these people, and it's your job. And would you rather take longer to get a hold of them, or would you rather it be a little shorter time? So I just realized if I dialed them 3 times back to back, majority of people would answer. And if they didn't, here's what I took my little stack of leads, called through them. And as soon as I was done, I took those same stack of leads, flipped it back over, and did the exact same thing again. And some people will be like, you did not do that. And I'm like, absolutely, I did. Because guess what? They hadn't gave me their yes or no. They hadn't gave me their yes or no. And I was in search of my yes or no, because I knew that family was entrusted to me. I was the agent, and I wanted to go help them. And remember, majority of what I started out on were $3 down to 50-cent leads. So I made a ton of phone calls. I got tons of no's. It was okay. But I did find the gold that was still left behind in the people that were still looking for it. And that really helped me. It helped me be profitable and helped me help a lot of people. Low and slow. Got to be low and slow. The reason I say that is because 2 people can say the phone script and it be interpreted 2 different ways. One person can come through and say it very fast. Hey, Jordan. Hey, this is Chris Cook, Mortgage Protection Group. How are you doing today? It looks like you, Jared, fill out that form, send it back into our office. Well, guess what? Click. And you can be like, Lord, these leads aren't any good. They are no good. Man, they done scammed me out of my money. And you're like, dude, you're going so quick that somebody on the other end thinks you're a telemarketer. That's the reason they're hanging up on you. So simply go low and slow. Clearly announce who you are, first and last name. I promise you. A lot of people, it's weird. They'll be like, I don't know. They keep hanging up on me. Well, did you give them your first and last name? Any of you guys, show of hands, any of you guys know any telemarketers give you their first and last name? Me neither. So one thing I took from that was, guess what? I gave everybody my first and last name. And guess what? That created confidence in me. People quit hanging up on me. People listen to me longer. And if they listen to me longer, then they're like, oh, this guy's not crazy. This guy's the guy I filled out a form, sent back over his office, and was looking for coverage for my family. So know that right there. Low and slow is very important. And the reason it's important is because you're differentiating yourself from telemarketers. Clearly announce who you are. Go through that, because that will be huge. When to dial. It's a touchy subject. Ooh, touchy subject. Some people get offended when I say this. I promise you, if you want to be elite, this is what you do. I made dials anywhere from 8:30 a.m. in the morning. This is only for those of you who want to be elite. If you want to be average or something else, don't do what I'm getting ready to teach you. 8:30 a.m. in the morning, and I dialed till 9:30 p.m. local time in the evening. And I promise you, a lot of people are like, no, you did not call people at 9:30 at night. Yes, I did. Because you know why? They didn't answer earlier in the day. If they would have answered earlier in the day, I wouldn't have called them at 9:30. And they're like, would they get mad at you? No, majority of them were appreciative that I called them. Also, something else that I learned during that long lessons of all those dials I made, that who answered the phone first were the older, sicker, more disabled type of people. And I realized there were some of them I could still help. I also realized there were some of them I couldn't. But the more I made dials, I started getting in touch with the CEO that nobody ever got in touch with because he wasn't at home during the day and he wasn't going to answer his phone for nobody other than his business associates. And he probably didn't get home and get settled down till 8:30, 8:45, 9 o'clock at night. And that's when he answered the phone. And that's where I found a lot of gold that other people didn't. I found a lot of people that were happy and healthy. They had kids. And guess what? They weren't answering the phone during the day. I called them 30 times that day. They didn't answer it. But 8:30, 8:45, 9, 9:15, 9:30 at night, they'd answer the phone. And you're like, well, I bet some of them got mad at you. No, not when I clearly explained who I was. They were actually happy I followed up and followed through with them. And it also allowed me to call bonus leads and get a lot more out of bonus leads than people that would only call 10 to 12 in the morning. They'll do a dial session at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They'll dial again 4 to 5. And they're like, yeah, I dialed them all day. I'm like, no, you didn't. You dialed them 3 different times during a day. And I'm telling you, it's one of the most common denominators that I see of people who come here that don't get above average results on the phone. It's one of the most common denominators. They don't call people enough to get in touch with them. So just hear my heart. Just be willing to do that. Be willing to outwork people early on. And I promise you, if you do that, you're going to become, there's going to develop in you a greater appreciation for the business because you're going to find people that, man, nobody else helped. And it's going to develop a great appreciation in you, what you do. And you're going to create value in what you do, which will lead you to end up helping even more people. Be a huge blessing. Book within 48 hours. Hey, I'm almost now. That was a nice rule that we had when we were all in person. I'm almost now. If you can book same day or within 24 hours, even better. You with me? Now, if you got to go 48 hours out, just make sure you lock it down. But really, you want to be booking same day or within 24 hours. Good rule of thumb, I think, for this business. Really good rule of thumb for you guys to be able to do what you want to do in this business. I think that's a really good rule of thumb for you guys on there. So let me look at this thing. So yeah, all right, got me a whole another rule of people here. All right, tracking numbers. Hey, tracking numbers, why is it important? Well, it's important for you to know where you are, to really us give you a guidepost of where you want to go. So if you're, working with your new agent mentor that's been assigned to you, working with your upline, if you can't give them a feedback of exactly what your numbers are from dials, appointments, set appointments, they can't give you diagnosis of what's going on in your business. For instance, if I'm talking to a new agent and say that new agent is going out and making things, and I say, hey, what's your numbers yesterday? He goes, a bunch. Well, I can't help that. Don't know what a bunch means, because a bunch to some people is 22 dials and a bunch to some others 322 dials. But if he knows, hey, I made 122 dials, I sat 2 appointments, and I only talked to 3 people, and then I go in and I go, oh, okay, that gives me something to diagnose. Maybe when he's dialing may be a problem. You with me? Or maybe it's like, well, hey, you just hadn't got enough, hold enough people. That's why I'm like, maybe it's when you're dialing. Did you dial till 9:30 at night? So I can ask them that. Well, no, I actually stopped dialing at like 3 o'clock during the day. Okay, well, we're going to make some adjustments. Are you willing to make some adjustments to dial later in the evening today? Boom. See, I can give them direct feedback on that. Or made 122 dials, spoke to 32 people, and booked 2 appointments. What type of leads are you working on? Well, I'm working on 5A leads. And so then I look at the metrics and it shows us, and then I can give them diagnosis like, well, you probably need some improvement on the phone. Let's do some role play. You with me? And so we can role play, and I'm like, what's the most common objection you can get? And then I can give them a feedback on what the most common objection they're getting and just simply how I would handle it. And then they have to trust that result, how I would handle it. It's not about taking a no and making it a yes. We want you guys to know that. Some of you guys think, I'm great at, oh, Chris has been on the phone all these years. I bet he's awesome at taking a person and they're a no and he's going to take them into being a yes. No, absolutely. It's not that. Matter of fact, I'm the opposite of that. I am good at just simply separating, should it be a no or should it be a yes? And getting a proper yes or a no. Okay, getting a proper yes or a no, that's really the most important thing. But you knowing your numbers and giving your mentor feedback, that is a very important thing to be able to do it. So tracking numbers, why important? Don't book appointments. Here's another little key tip that I'm going to give you. I didn't book any of my appointments during conference call times. The old adage, I wanted to sharpen my axe before I went down and cut down the tree. It worked out for me. I've never seen any high-level producer sustain that over a course of time that did not use that is one of the biggest things. So when you're putting together your schedule for the week, the 10:30 to 11 o'clock call on Mondays, huge, right? Huge. Put that in your schedule. The 1 to 2:30 call on Wednesdays Eastern time for Symmetry Financial, and any other that you and your upline have decided that's big for you, I put those in first. Those are automatically blocked out, and I booked all my appointments around them. I promise you, you do that, you're going to be so much more effective at helping the families you serve. So don't book appointments during conference call times. That's definitely a rookie mistake, and we see people do that. And they would get more feedback on how to handle those appointments better if they were on those conference calls, and they'll become way more effective. I promise you, I've seen it firsthand thousands of times. Here's a key tidbit. So I've already said it, but I just want to reemphasize it again. If you've done all those things, role play with your upline if you don't know how to handle objections. But here's the way to do it. Don't do it in statement form, okay? Just say, hey, this is the most common objection. How would you handle it? Right? Do it in question form. How would you handle it? How would you handle it? It's not overcome the objection. How would you handle it? Because we're not looking to overcome it. We're just looking to handle it. Meaning we're still going to get a yes or a no, and a yes or a no is okay. What's not okay is a maybe. And if you just know how to do that, and you do that consistently, and you play the numbers correctly, then this business is a business of exchanging 20s for hundreds. You with me? That's what it becomes down to if you do that and do it correctly. Another key tip that I'm going to give you with your new agent mentor or your direct upline that you're growing with, here's going to be a good piece of advice. Have a session where they're making dials and you're watching them make dials. Take notes. And let them know what you learned at the end of that session. And do that. Hey, one of the biggest things when I started my agency, just little old me here in Knoxville, Tennessee, country accent. I mean, good Lord, y'all think this accent travels? It really doesn't. But I ended up writing applications from Maine to Texas. Y'all with me? It worked, even though it was the most northern speaking people in the world that I spoke to. So I want you to know it traveled. But I just say, one of the biggest things I did every Saturday, my team would come in and they would watch me make phone calls. So you guys, the technology now is so much better. If you were in Texas back in the day, you couldn't watch me, right? You just hear me over the phone. Use the Zoom sessions with your upline where they watch you. Remember, first they do, you watch, and then have a segment where they watch you and give you a little feedback. Okay? It's a great tip for you guys there. All right. Let's get into, let's get into some lead budget stuff here. I'm gonna go through a couple of things here. So y'all saw this. I'm gonna go back through, make sure we're doing that. Make sure we're hitting the heartstrings on thing here. Hold on just a second. Just wanna go back to this one screen for a second, make sure I go over it. All right, so massive action, remember, $400 to $600 a week, minimum. That word's minimum, meaning it's the lowest amount you should be making. If you want to get better quicker, make more. Remember, DJ Robinson made 1,005 dials last week. Here's a quick quiz though. For every 100 dials he made, he was making $550. He made $6.30 per dial, whether the client answered or not. Any of y'all want to make a dial, and every time you do it, you can lay $5 or $1.30 down beside you? How sweet is that? Track your numbers. He knew his numbers, right? So do that. Appointments in telesales. I'm going to recommend this. Hey, if you're full-time and you want to get this thing cracking correctly, run 17 to 20 appointments a week. I recommend minimum 15 sits a week. In our group, keep in mind, I track the numbers. Hey, in our base shop group last week, we had 42 set applications. We wrote 24 applications. Val Zarn's group, 38 sits, 19 applications. So the same number that we're training y'all on works. Every 15 people we sit with, we know we're averaging 6 to 8 applications, but it's the discipline enough to do that inside of a week. I'm speaking to my full-timers here. You've got to do that inside of a week. If you do that over 6 weeks, you're going to retroactive look back and you're averaging 6 to 8 applications a week as long as you're counseling through that. If you're not, if you're averaging 8 appointments a week in your full-time, you may be averaging way below the numbers that it takes for you to be in this business. Remember, you have endless amount of people you can call and set appointments with. You just got to keep doing it enough to make sure you're getting the results you need. If you're part-time, I'm going to give you the number you need. I'm going to give you the number, part-timers. It's 8 appointments a week you got to sit with. If you do that number, you'll average 2 to 4 applications a week, and you'll net income beyond expenses. As long as you do that for 6 straight weeks, $700 to $1,000 a week net income beyond expenses. That is an amazing part-time position. I know that number to be true. Elijah Carujo, me and my buddy Grant Reynolds, that's somebody we mentored. One of the things that we kept in front of him, what did he make while he was finishing up his college career? $59,000. What was the thing when he went first full-time year with us? Keep in mind, he was 22 years old when he did that. His first full-time year, he was 23 with us. He wanted to average 15 sits a week. In the virtual world, made $120,600 and something dollars. Concentrated on 15 appointments a week. 23 years old. No insurance background. Know your numbers, okay? It's me loving on you. All right, so know your numbers. All right, I'm gonna go through a couple other items here. It's gonna be good for you. We'll make sure which one I want to go through next. Let's do this. You ever had like your cheat sheet that you want to bring up, not come up? Ah, I got it now. Getting ready to rock and roll this thing. Boom. All right. This is good stuff here. So Savannah, this is for you, buddy. Jesus, it's for you. Hey, quick guide from leads to appointments to applications. This is really good stuff right here. Know these metrics. Your upline has these metrics. They can email this form to you. Make sure you get it from them. But this is a key component. It's quick guide from leads to appointments to applications. So if you're dialing for appointments, it's really good for you to know these metrics. This will keep you sane while you're running your business. This is giving you the metrics you need. So if I'm taking 5A leads, right? This is me starting my business career. If I'm taking 5A leads, let me take this back up to the top of the screen. You ever had your mouse mess up on you? My mouse is messing up on me. Damn it. I know it disappeared from you guys. All right, it's coming back. Here we are, we're back. All right, so 5A appointments, 5A leads. If I was ordering leads, let's just say we're setting up a lead budget. Every 3 to 4 no's, this is like you guys on the phone, every 3 to 4 no's equals 1 set appointment. If you're within that metrics, you're good to go. Your numbers will work out, you'll make good profit. Just realize, so if you're ordering 5A leads, you get 3 to 4 no's on the phone, and then you set an appointment, your averaging appointment every 3 to 4 no's, you're in line, your metrics will work out, your upline will be able to teach you how to be highly profitable. 4A leads, 5 to 6, you see the numbers, all the way down to 50-cent leads, 10 to 12 no's equals 1 yes. Keep in mind, when I started here, I just wanted to get good. I was 3A down to 50 cents, went out and did it. But keep in mind, we recommend a lot of people now start out on 5A leads. But I say all of them work. You just got to be willing to work the numbers. But realize this, if you've contacted 22 people and you got 2 appointments off 50-cent leads, you're within the numbers. Know your numbers. This will keep you sane as you work with your direct upline. And realize this, you close one of them, it means you basically spent $50 to go out and make $550. It's a beautiful thing, folks. And you can go out and make a huge difference, but know your numbers here. A lot of people wonder how DJ Robinson's killed it. He's basically worked 50 cents, 1A, 2A, and 3A since he started here. He's worked some A leads, he's worked some 5A leads, but he's just a grinder on the phone, and just a great example of what it takes to go out there and just find the gold where the gold is. But this is a great thing for dialing for appointments. And they can email this out to you today. I always kept a sheet like this in front of me. It kept me sane on the phone, so I knew if I was in line with what my expectations should be on the phone. The next part is leads to appointments, or leads to applications, I think would be a better way to term it. So if I'm running, say, 5A leads, if I invest in 20 leads and I go get a yes or a no, and I do my due diligence on the phone, I should be averaging 2 to 4 applications at the end of that yes or a no period, right? Now, my job is to get a hold of the people. Remember, I've got to do my work. I've got to get a yes or a no. Now, here's the thing. You can take that and you can take a whole week to get through those. And that'd pay you about what? $1,000. That'd pay you anywhere between, say, $1,000, $1,500 a week. Or you can choose, like I did, you can go do that a day. You don't have to make everything a week or a month-long process. You can actually do that in a day if you want. And if you want to see some of the high-level producers, the top producer in Symmetry last year, I think wrote $621,000 in premium. Keep in mind, people like that are doing this a day. They're writing 3 to 5 applications a day. It's not taking them a week. So if some of you guys want to come out here and make 30, 40, 50 grand a month in personal production, you can. We already have people doing it. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if that's where you are and you want to, you can. You just got to know these numbers. 50-cent leads. I knew, man, I ordered 120 50-cent leads. I was like, I got to get a hold of 120 people today, and I got to get 2 to 4 applications today or tomorrow. And if I did that, it means every day in the field, I was averaging somewhere between $750 to $1,500 a day in the field. And I wanted to do that as quick as possible, because I knew the more I did that, the more I was going to help families. And the more I did that, the more it'd help our family and get where we wanted to get financially. Because I had 2 little boys, and those little boys eat me out of house and home. They were 4 and 1 at the time. They're 8 and 11 now. And we had big dreams. We had big goals, right? And we wanted to attack those big dreams and those big goals. I think a good number there for investment in the business, for every $250, $350 in lead investment, your return should be, if you look back over 6 weeks and you've done your work and you've got your yes or a no from the families you've been assigned, you'd probably be netting anywhere between $1,000 and $1,500 a week. Now, you want to do that a day? You can do it a day. That's the thing that I love about this. It lets you choose. Keep in mind, top of the mountain personal production right now, $621,000 in a year. That means that person's making over $400,000 or $500,000 a year on their own pen. So it's not something that, if don't think there's a limit to what you can do. There's only a limit to what you can put into it work-wise. And if you're willing to put in more work, you can get where you want to get to, I promise you. So stop share on that one. Utilize that. Keep that in front of you. That always kept me sane when I was making dials, man. And I was just like, man, contacted a lot of these people. And I was like, oh, I am where I need to be. I think we've got all that. Audios. Yeah, here's the thing. Some audios I suggest, all of them, man. Get on there, but I'm going to say focus right now. Don't go listen to a bunch of in-home stuff or stuff on there. I would really focus on getting good on the phone. So listen to the audios that teach you to get good at telesales on the phone. And I'm telling you guys, setting appointments. That's the key ones. They're all on the SFG website. Your SFG mentor can give you specific ones. We've got good ones out there from Elijah Carujo, Grant Reynolds that have been posted to our site. All of you guys have phenomenal leaders that are above you that can go out there and help you guys get it done. But be real with them on where you guys want to be in this business. Be real with them. And then they will reverse engineer what you need to do. But make sure you're listening to those audios. Those audios, when I would drive, like say, it's different. Obviously, nobody's driving as much now as they used to. But say I would drive to go pick up the kids. And, you know, you fathers and mothers out there relate to this. Like when I would do that, I would listen to somebody that was better in SFG than I was on the phone. I would listen to the audio training. That way I didn't just drive out there to get the kids. I actually learned something while I was doing it. And say I was going to the grocery store for the family. Well, while I was doing it, guess what? I would listen to an audio training. And I'd take the time in the morning to start my day out, honing my skills. And the more I did that, the more I applied that to my business, our income level just went through the roof by applying what other people had already learned. Life's too short to learn everything firsthand, right? And so I just encourage you to go out there, listen to those things, because you've got people that, you know, 621,000 in a year in premium they've written off the same leads that you're going out there and the same families you're helping. So the mountain is pretty tall and you guys can go out there and do that. So that's what I would give you there. Also in the home, you know, once you get good on the phone, you can hone your skills with those same type of trainings that are on our virtual sales training on the website. Make sure you're taking advantage of it, right? Make sure you're taking advantage of it. And I just think make sure that's very important for you guys on that right there. So I'm going to go over a quick thing that I love to go over with new agents while they're in the home. I think simplifying your life to me makes a little bit of sense, because it can be very confusing once you start here. You're like, gum, it's like 400 companies to choose from. Which company do I need to use? So I'm going to give you just a couple of little tips here that certainly helped me. I know it helped my good buddy Joe Martinez. His first year, he kept it very simple. For those of you who don't know Joe Martinez's story, he started here a couple of years ago with us. In his first full-time year, he made $240,000 working within our group. And just over the last 2 years, he's made $362,000 deposited in his bank account. He'd never worked in the insurance industry before. He was from the restaurant industry, and but he kept it very simple when he got on the when he got in the home. So I'm gonna share that with you in just a second. Let me bring that up. Boom. All right. Boom. All right. Let me share this screen with you guys. All right. Underwriting made simple. Hey, your upline, your agency owner, your key leader, or our team has this. If you guys are a part of our group, make your world simple. Hey, don't go out there and learn every product in the book. You'll go crazy trying to do that. Don't do that to yourself. You with me? Here's what I suggest with everybody in my base shop. And this is exactly what I go over with them in our leadership call individually with them one-on-one. It's like, man, I start out underwriting made simple. So you want to make your world simple. You can have this emailed to you by them. AMAM home certainty is what I started out with. If that client was within that age group, it fit within the face amount, and their health would keep them there, I didn't go off that product. That's the product I wrote for them. It's a mortgage protection product. That's the product I started out with. Mutual of Omaha Term Life Express would be out here on the side, and I would write that if they were a better fit for them. Now, the only caveat, and the reason we have this out to the side, they're virtually the same product, two different companies. So I want you to understand that underwriting is almost identical for both of them, right? Got to be pretty healthy. The reason I put Mutual of Omaha as more of a secondary is like during your first couple of weeks, you probably won't be able to write it. Check with your upline if you're contracted or not, because they're contracting slower. We say start out with AMAM home certainty because we want you to get paid quicker. Mutual of Omaha may take 2 weeks for you to get contracted, and we don't want you to wait on your paycheck for your first one. But once you're contracted, the good news is you'll have options with both of these. So not to confuse you, You'll have options with both of these. Virtually the same product, but it's a really good product for you to start out. So if they're healthy enough, they fit age-wise, their face amount, and all the needs were within that. I didn't move from that. That was the product that I stayed with. Learn that product. It takes all of about 5 minutes to look through it. I simply printed out the underwriting guide. I had it there with me. If they had a question about it, I'd say, great question, Jesus. And then I'd look down in my thing. I'm going to look up this form and I'll get that answer for you. I'd look at it. All right, here's your answer. Right? That's what I'd do. Like it wasn't that complicated. And if they asked me a question that I didn't know, I was just say, hey, hold on. That's a great question. Can I check with my chief underwriter real quick? I'll even put them on speaker. And I'd either call the company directly. Most of the time, I just call the insurance company directly and I said, hey, me and my clients have this question about this product. We just want to make sure that we have the right answer for them. You guys got a second on that? And boom, they'd answer it. The clients would love me for it because I was utilizing somebody else to be an expert. I wasn't trying to be the expert. So many people make that mistake that they're trying to be the expert or they're wearing each other out because, hey, if you got a question about a product, call me. No, you don't need to call your upline for everything like that. You actually have an insurance company that can give you the answers firsthand. Okay. That's one of the things that I see with people that really grow this business directly is they're good traffic cops with that. So tier 2, what do you think tier 2 was? It's simply the people that wouldn't qualify from either a face amount, health-wise or something that would be slotted down to tier 2. You with me? Most of the time it's health. So if they can't qualify health-wise for tier 1, I'd simply take them down to tier 2 and let them go with either AmAm Dignity Solutions or Mutual of Omaha Living Promise. A lot of times that would be a critical period concept. You need to get that training. There's a lot of audio trainings, a lot of Zoom trainings on critical period concept. Get good at that. It's where you've got a person with $100,000 mortgage and all you can get them is a Dignity Solutions for like $25,000. Get good at learning that process because that will help you with a lot of your bonus leads. Your upline agent mentor, your direct upline can teach you that, can teach you good core trainings for that. But if they can qualify for tier 1, just went down here to tier 2, did that. These are easy products to learn. All takes maybe 5 minutes a piece to learn these products. Y'all clear there? Pretty easy so far, right? Guess what? If they didn't qualify for tier 2 from a health standpoint, we went down to tier 3. We start out with Gerber. The only reason we start out with Gerber is they contract us a little quicker. They pay you as earned, so you don't stick with them. Their product and AIG's product is very similar, like almost identical similar. The only difference is they pay you as earned, which is not as good as being paid advance commission. AIG will pay advance. Gerber will pay only as earned. So as soon as you get contracted with AIG, you'll be in constant contact with your direct upline with this. You get contracted with AIG, you simply switch over and start writing AIG. What are that? That's a person, I'll give you an example. They're insulin dependent diabetic with multiple heart attacks or they got cancer right now. We got a guarantee issue policy that we can get them approved through. So how valuable is that? You with me? They can't qualify for any of our other products, but they can still get coverage through us. And so rely on that because you're going to help clients that nobody else helped. You're going to help clients. And I was a master at writing these. A lot of people are like, man, I can't write any of those. I'm like, man, I wrote like 8 of them last week. Like it would be crazy how many of these I would write in a week and how many families I was able to help just because I gave them a solution that no other company out there could do because we're a brokerage, not just an insurance carrier. Y'all with me? So that's it. That's where I started out. And if I didn't have anything that fit these 3, I just simply, that's when you can pick up the phone line. You can call your new agent mentor or the person that you're getting mentorship from and just say, hey, is there any other product you would suggest for this particular client? Boom. If they don't fit in these categories, then they can give you an idea where to go with that particular client. You with me? Now, I'll say 100% of your clients typically will fit within these criteria, but you just want to make sure that you're doing the best thing at the end, but keep it real simple. And I would only learn those other products as an as-need basis. That's the only time I would do it. So I didn't spend forever with any of that right there. So hopefully that's a good idea for you guys. All right. So I want to talk briefly too. I'm talking to you guys, you brand new agents. You're starting in your first 9 months. So you need to know first 9 months, it's your toughest too, man. You're learning the business, you're learning the products, but it's okay. What I really want you to learn is there's some really awesome stuff coming down the line. And just learn that it's the first 9 months certainly is the toughest, but I want to just give you some hope here. Okay. And just share with you a little something that I think that you need to understand. I understood this when I got here, but it was just something that I wanted to share with you guys. I understood it already, but I want to make sure you guys understood it. First 9 months, why is it the toughest? Because you're relying only on your advance commission, which is only 75% of your income. Okay, only 75% of your income is in advance. Months 10, 11, and 12, all the clients that you keep on the books for those that year is coming to you in back-end residuals. And most of the time, it's about $50 per application. So let's take a look at some of you and what you could start to look at months 10, 11, and 12 from now as you look at your career. Because right now, you can still make $550 an application. Don't get me wrong. It's good money. You got to be disciplined enough to run your applications, run your appointments. But here's a great thing for you to know. If you're writing and you're going out and writing business and realizing you're keeping X number of policies on the book, stuff like that, months 10, 11, and 12, you're going to get that additional $50 per policy. So an agent, if one of you go out and you're ambitious, you're running 15 appointments a week, I guarantee you, if you're running 15 appointments a week and you do it with counseling and massive action, you're going to be averaging about 20 apps a month issuing. You'll get about $1,000 a month raise on month 10. Why will you do that? Because 20 times 50 of those policies that are staying on books equals $1,000. So 10 months from now, you're going to start receiving $1,000 of back-end residual coming back into you. $1,000 on that month. By month 11, you're doing 20 apps a month. $2,000 a month, you're now getting back-end residuals. Anybody here want a $2,000 raise in your first 11 months? Show of hands. Blink. Blink if you want one. Eventually you'll blink, so I know you want one. So, hey, by month 12, this is insane. You've received a $36,000 a year raise if you'll just keep doing the right things through the first year. $36,000. Anybody ever wanted a $36,000 a year raise at a job you just started? I love it, Andy. I see you blinking, buddy. Hey, $3,000 a month. Hey, that's just if you go out and you're disciplined enough to run your 15 appointments a week and you just keep doing it and you're counseling. You do that right there, that's the type of results. Hey, if you're part-time and you were doing 10, here's the crazy part is you got a $500 a month raise. By month 11, you got $1,000. By month 12, you got a $1,500 a month raise, which is $18,000 a year's raise, even if you were part-time. That's insane. The people that have been in this business long enough start to realize that, and it starts to be crazy for them. Like they start to receive some massive, massive back-end results based on that right there. So, want you guys to know that right there. Hey, I pray you guys get a lot out of that, because to me, that's huge. One last thing I am going to talk about, and I don't think it's the most unimportant thing that I'm going to talk about. I think it's the most important thing that I'm going to talk about today, you guys, is just realize everything that I just showed you right there is temporary income. But here's the crazy part. If I were to ask y'all a question and we were just having a one-on-one, and I simply just said to you, hey, are you looking for temporary or are you looking for permanent? I'm telling you, every one of you would be looking, you'd be like, well, of course, I'm looking for permanent. But most people, here's where they make the mistake. They come here, they look at all that money you can make in personal production. They're like, well, I'm just going to focus on that. I'm just going to focus on that. I'm going to get good at that. And then I'll hear you talking about the other stuff, Chris, but I'll do that down the road. Well, down the road never actually gets to them, right? And it's just because of different things that they allow to happen to them in the business. But if you want an insurance policy for your insurance business, you recruit in this business. You recruit and you go out and you show other people this amazing opportunity. It's not a multi-level marketing business. It's a business model that allows you to come here, be a personal producer, earn the income that we just spoke about temporarily. And the reason it's called temporary income is because you go out and do it. That's when you get paid for it. But I can hire a Jordan Gillum. I can hire a Val Zarn. I can hire an Elijah Carujo. How many times did I need to hire them? Anybody out there want to show me a number? One time. How long do I get paid? Keeps going, baby. It keeps going. That's called permanent income. So before I ever wrote my first policy here at Symmetry Financial, I'd already recruited my first 2 people. Why? Because I wasn't going to make myself the hero. And you're like, well, Chris, what did you tell them to get them aboard? I just said, hey, there's this company that I'm looking at starting with, and it looks like they're hiring over in your area. Are you in the job market right now, part-time or full? Well, what have you done, Chris? Nothing. I just started. Like, I was honest with them. I've done nothing. I just started. So I didn't use me as an example. None of you should use yourself as an example. But if you're on Jordan's team, you can point to Jordan. If you're on Laura Davis's team, point to Laura Davis. If you're on Val Zarn's team, point to Val. I mean, you've got heroes all around you that have already proven this business works. Mention them, right? Mention them. Get them on a 3-way call with you and your new prospect and let their story help you build an organization, not your story. Your story eventually will, but I never said anything about me. I just said, well, hey, I know this guy, Brandon Casey, they built Symmetry. They seem to be doing pretty well and they're helping some people. You guys in the job market, part-time or full? You know what I mean? Just keep it that simple. And here's a challenge that I would lay out to you. And I'm gonna go over just a couple of things here because this is in my heart. This is in my heart because a lot of people, this is the number one mistake that most new agents make. It's the prove it to yourself syndrome. It's like guys, I'm telling you, we've already got thousands of people that have already proved this works. This works for everybody that's willing to do the work. I'm just saying, don't make the mistake that most people make, that they got to go in, spend a year out in the field thinking they got to do it, and then after that, and then thinking they got to train the new people. Do y'all think I trained any of my brand new people? Nope. Here's what I did. I already told you. I had them watching me in my office every Saturday, me book my appointments. I didn't train them nothing. I said, watch me do what I'm doing. That's it. And you guys already have new agent mentors that you can plug your new people in and they can watch them do. You don't even have to train them. They can be training at the same time you're training. If I went to an event, I just took people with me. They learned at the same time I was learning. I became a good inviter. Now, did most people do it? No, most people wouldn't do the work. But out of every 100 people, I'd find 5 people that would. You with me? I'm just saying, like, it's, you guys are seeing me after 7 years in the business, and this business has been beautiful. It's been life-changing for me and my family, and it can be for you and yours. Just ask, you take advantage of it if you want to build a business. And once you become agency owner here, you get to write an agreement with Symmetry Financial. You pass away, that business can go on down to your spouse and take care of your family. And so now, if I pass away tomorrow in a car accident, pray I don't, but if I do, the Lord takes me, guess what? Wife and kids are taken care of financially the rest of their life. I love that. It's the number one thing I love about this business. It's the number one thing I love about this business, that I get to pass on that to my family, and it's a legacy because I didn't focus on temporary income. I focused on permanent. So Jeremy Hopgood, listen to me, buddy. I'm looking at you, man. You can build a legacy right now for you and your family. You just got to go do it. But you can't think about it, and you can't analyze it, and you can't, well, I got to prove it first type BS that everybody tries to do in this world. Don't do that junk, guys. Go out there, take advantage of it, just like we did. So I'm gonna I'll give you guys some things. So why you want to recruit? People will stay for an override. You want to build a business that is stable, people will stay for an override. You got somebody that's going out personally producing, but they got somebody they're making the difference between their earned contract and that person's earned contract, which I love about this. Say they're making $500 a month because they hired a sharp person. You think they're going anywhere if they're making an extra $500 a month? Give me some head shakes out there. Y'all think they're going anywhere? They're going nowhere, right? They're going nowhere. Only way to make big money in this business consistently over time, if you're looking to make $300K a year or more without burning yourself out consistently, $300,000 a year or more, only way to do that consistently and keep that without you burning out is you building big. Building, another benefit of building, it buys you time. Listen to me, folks. Money's not the number one commodity in the world. It's not. Time is. I'm 49 years old, or God Lord, I'm only 48. I shortchanged myself. I turned 49 this year though. So I'm realizing that I've realized it for a long time because I've read the business books, but it's the time I spend with my kids and my wife. That was the most precious commodity. It wasn't anything else. That was the most precious commodity in the world. And what you recruiting does is it buys you time, because it's going to allow an Elijah Carujo to go on the, to Bora Bora with his wife. They're getting married this Sunday, and for 2 weeks, they're going to go halfway around the world. But for those 2 weeks, he's still going to have income coming in because he was smart enough to go out and recruit, develop a business beyond him. You with me? It bought him time with his loved ones that, guess what? If he just had a job, or if he just had temporary income and it was all on him, guess what? He probably couldn't take 2 weeks. He'd probably have to take 5 days. You with me? How precious is that extra time that he's going to have with him and his new wife over in Bora Bora? How precious is that? Like, can you put a price on that? And all you simply got to do, and here's the challenge, all you simply got to do is do this. You got to share the plan 10 plus times a week. I've done that for 7 straight years. For 7 straight years, I've just consistently kept doing it. Majority of people, nope. It's okay. I kept going. Some people burnt me. You know what I mean? It's okay. Kept going. And if you guys will do that, man, you just don't know how awesome it could be for you and your family down the road. It works when you don't. Stays in your family forever, and it builds a legacy. So a couple of notes to that. Where I started first was my warm market. I was going to look at a couple of questions. Here's a question that you can ask. Write this down. You check with your warm market. Are you interested in making extra money in addition to what you're currently doing? I'll say it again, it's for the people. Are you interested in making extra money in addition to what you're currently doing? That's the question you ask. And the people that say yes, send them a video. Say, hey, watch this video. This shows you a little bit about Symmetry, and then schedule, hey, bam, it, book a meeting from a meeting for later on that afternoon or that thing within 24 hours to get with them. Schedule a specific time to get with them, and then just simply see if this is a fit for what they're looking for. Part-time or full. Hey, and it's okay if they say no. Matter of fact, it's 100% okay if they say no. You're just looking for the people that's a fit. You're not talking anybody into it. Nothing. And you're using the example that a Laura Davis, a Jordan Gillum, a Val Zarn, a Joe Martinez, a Jeff Miller, you're just using their stories to go to work for you. And if one of those are your upline, get them on a call, a 3-way call with that person. I promise you, you do that 100 times in your warm market, you'll find 5 people that want to work with you. if you find 5 people that want to work for you, you'll create an additional $500 to $1,000 a month in passive income, permanent passive income that can help you invest more in your business, invest more to grow your business, do whatever you want. The good news is it can do that for you guys. Y'all with me? So blink if you agree, right? I know eventually you'll blink, so I'll definitely get yeses from all of you by the end of the day. So, and remember, what you talk about, you attract. And so if you're looking to build a big business, talk about building a business. You with me? The more times you talk about that, you'll always get people that produce with you. That's always going to come naturally. But if you just talk about production, you may or may not get production, but you'll never get building. So learn that key lesson. Certainly a key lesson that I had to learn over the years. So, all right. So I think we got it good there. Anybody, any quick questions that you guys got? Anything that we covered today? I know I had you guys take some notes there, and just want to see if you guys got any quick questions.
Hey, Chris.
Jeremy, what's up, buddy?
Hey. So how long did it take you to truly like take off and just be consistent, productive, and all of that?
About 2 to 3 weeks, but here's the thing though, Jeremy, here's one thing that I did to do that. Okay. So there's a lot of people hear that and they're like, well, dang, that sucks. You know what I mean? They hear that and they're like, dude, I want to hear you struggled forever here. You know what I mean? The truth is I didn't, but the reason I didn't is because I made dials in teal, meaning I never stopped dialing until I had 22 appointments, because I knew for every 22 appointments I'd sit in front of 15 people. So if you want to see me work, like, it was easy to watch me work. So I didn't really struggle. I wrote 42,000 in my first 6 weeks here at Symmetry personally. So I didn't really struggle, but remember, the reason I didn't struggle here at Symmetry is because what I lacked in skill, I made up for in activity.
Same thing as DJ Robinson. Like, you just worked.
People don't like that word, Jim. I'm telling you, they're like, oh, dang, I wish you would have told me something different.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
Hey, and if you'll do it, buddy, you're the next. Promise you, buddy. Anybody else?
I wanted to see how many appointments you wrote your first week, but I guess you sort of just answered that. So, yeah.
Well, I don't remember the first week. I could probably go back through my records. I just, like I said, it was over 6 weeks. I did keep my notes, and I was looking back because I scribbled notes and I journaled throughout my thing, and I had written down on one of our sheets of paper our leaderboard through 6 weeks, and I was at 42,000. So, but I do know this, like success from profitability, we was able to put 60 additional $1,000 in our bank account, all bill paid, after about 7 months. And our group was already doing over 100,000 6 months into it.
Wow. Okay.
So here's the key though. I got out of balance. Hey, here's the thing too, because a lot of people hear the story about spend time with your family. Okay, for those first 6 or 7 months, y'all think I was just sitting around chilling with the family, eating potato chips? No, I didn't. I didn't see them much at all. I got out of balance to get in balance. Meaning 8:30 a.m. in the morning to 9:30 at night, I was either running an appointment or setting an appointment. And the times I wasn't doing that, Camille, I was calling somebody to see if they wanted to work with me. I love it when people are like, draw me out your schedule. And I was like, I just did. I was like, that was my schedule. They just didn't like the answer. They wanted something easier. That's what I did. So any of you guys want to join me in your first 6 months, want to develop a $100,000 a month agency, do that. You're going to look up 6 months from now and your life will have changed. Y'all with me? Easier said than done. You got to be willing to put in the work. Now, hey, don't do it if you're not looking to build something big, but if you are looking to build something big and do it quick, don't be scared. You can do it too. Any other questions?
Lately, I've been having a hard time closing. I'm got the script. I go through here. What's the best? Does this work with which one of these works within your budget and your needs? But I'm having a hard time closing.
Focusing?
Closing.
Closing. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I would just say, here's what you do. You get specifically with numbers with Jordan, because you're direct to Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have you watched her run an appointment?
Yes.
Okay.
I haven't. No. I watched her schedule appointment, not run one.
Okay. So maybe ask her, say, hey, Jordan, can I watch you run an appointment?
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You there? I think you cut off on me, buddy.
She said thanks.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, and Camille, I'll tell you, it's gonna be an easy fix. The easiest of the fixes. So we're gonna connect after this call.
Yeah. And it's good for any of you guys that have a question like that. Like, it's a great question. I would just say specifically get with like Camille, you would give Jordan your exact numbers. Now, if you're like, well, I've ran 4 appointments. Hey, it's me loving on you, Camille. I've ran 4 appointments and I don't have any applications. If you're direct to me, I'd be like, well, I can't help you with that. I'd be like, okay, after you run 15, we're going to know a number. Because I promise you this, Camille, me, I was 0 for 7 in a day before with all 7 people that showed up. And I went 7 for 7 in a day. All 7 people showed up. And I promise you this, I'm not as good as the person that went 7 for 7. And I don't suck as bad as the person who went 0 for 7. I'm somewhere in between, and we all are. I mean, we're all going to go through dry spells and hot spells. The key is, do we know our law of large numbers? Because the larger the number, it's like a plane taking off. Me and Jordan and Jared, Warren will attest to this. Plane takes off. It goes through this period before it gets up to cruising altitude that's very bumpy. But once it gets up to 30,000 feet, it's actually very smooth. And when you're booking appointments, so if we say 15 appointments a week, if you're at 4, it's bumpy. You could be good, you could be at bad, but you're at 15, it starts to level off. That's the reason we use that 15 as a thing, because Casey, Brandon, myself, Jordan, we've all ran 4 appointments in a week and not closed. Like, that happens to us almost every week in the field that I ran for over 10 years. That happened to me. But also I'd hit stretches where, dang, I can't get anybody to tell me no. But you've got to know the first number, which is how many you set with a week, and then reverse engineer it from there. Just good advice for all of you. So what's some other questions you guys got out there?
Chris, I'm going to ask you quickly. When you say 15 appointments, you mean 15 sits, not 15 yeses.
Love that you clarified that. Yes, people you actually sit with. And remember the number, and this was big because you probably saw me posted on GroupMe yesterday. DJ was a great example. So he sat 22 or set 22 this past week, right? And then you see how many he sat with was 15, right? And so that's key, because when I had a breakthrough in my business, I set 22 appointments, meaning that's the people I set, but I had 7 no-show, and then I ended up sitting in front of 15. And usually, if you want to know if your percentage is right, I was always wanting to be somewhere between 65 to 80% show rate, but also realizing, I promise you this, Federica, I'd have times where I'm like, good Lord, I had 5 appointments booked today and nobody showed up. And I'm like, son of a motherless goat, right? But I promise you this, the only thing, it's how you respond, not what happens to you. The only thing I did that made a difference, I just hop right back on the phone. Every time I got no-showed, I just rebooked an appointment to replace it. And here's a tidbit of advice, and this helped DJ. Anybody that no-showed him, he wasn't calling them back. If you no-show me, say you're in an appointment with me and you no-show me, I just call you back and rebook you. Now, I'm going to tie you down a little bit more next time, but I'm going to call you back and rebook you. And some people will be like, I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, I did. It helped. So if you have a no-show, I hadn't got my no. You're still my family. I'm in charge of you. You hadn't gave me a no. And remember, I go for no. I get a yes or a no. And it's okay. And you'd be shocked at how many people just forgot about you innocently. and you call them back and you tie them down a little bit more, they'll just rebook back with you. And then a lot of times they'll even easier to write an application on them because they're sorry they missed you. Good piece of advice. Anybody else?
I got a question for you. Do you by chance do text reminders of appointments so that if people have life get in the way, they remember the appointment so that they don't innocently forget you and cost you a time?
I personally did not. My saying when I was running in the field full time was the only people that I would text or call before the appointment would be the people that I wanted to reschedule. So I just made sure, did my best and booked enough. In other words, if I'm wanting to sit in front of 15, I'm not setting 15, I'm setting 22 to sit in front of 15. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So no, I didn't do reminders or anything beforehand, but I did make sure I did my appropriate thing to lock it down best I could.
Awesome.
Anybody else? Any building questions out there? Any personal production? Any on the phone? I love your shirt, dude. What is that, volcano?
Yep.
That's awesome.
What's
Hey.
funny is I'm wearing long underwear underneath the volcano.
Hey, that's how you roll in Zoom session world, man.
Dude, I live in Michigan. In my office, there's something about the bottom of it where the cold air leaks in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hey, I'm just one of those guys that plans ahead,
Hey, get in a comfort zone, man. I love that. You got a volcano shirt on, you probably close 100% of the people you see with that volcano shirt.
Well, you can't see it back there on the wall. There's
Oh
actually
yeah, I see the volcano,
a
right
volcano
there.
thing there. And the super cool thing about those is I ordered one, and then when I get home, I hang it up in my house, and I'm like, I wish I had one for my office.
Yeah.
They shipped me a second one and didn't charge me for it.
Well, I'm gonna give you a piece of advice now. Do you go by Eric or Max? Which one do you go by?
Eric.
Okay, because I see Max up there as a reason. So Eric, here's my suggestion to you. When I think it's either the Am trip, I think it's the Am trip, and you can go to the big island of Hawaii, and you can visit your very own volcano this year. So there you go.
Right.
I think it's like 95,000 points. So, which is like APV, issue paid business.
Right. Well, I'm approaching the starting gate, so to speak. I am in a spot where I've started watching some of the videos. I'm actually waiting for my official credentials. And now I really just need to have a healthy mix between memorizing the script, doing some role playing, but not. I need to actually have some kind of a, okay, screw it. You're ready. You're as ready as you're going to get. It's time to jump in the water, head, and start swinging.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at this point.
Well, that's where you rely on your upline and make sure they give you good advice. Because here's the thing, none of you ever going to be ready to go run an appointment. It's like having kids. For those of you who've had kids, you ever been ready for having kids? Nobody is. Don't worry about it. You're not going to be. The best way you're going to learn is go do it. And you can't mess it up. If there's a question your client asks you that you don't know the answer to, just say, great question. I'm going to call my chief underwriter and make sure I clarify that for you. They'll love you for it. I'm telling you, that's what happened to me. And they love me for it.
Well, one of the things that I had in my business is kind of a training reminder for me to be aware of the fact that the only way I was going to grow is by training other people. Is I actually took one of my work uniforms and actually wrote right on it, I do, we do, you do, next. Oh. But now after listening to what you're saying, really what it needs to boil down to is I actually need to add a couple of steps before that where I will actually watch somebody else do it. So now I've got they do, we do, I do, then a different we do, and then you do next. So did you follow what I was saying there?
I'm close and I love it. I'd say this, we definitely have a Thrive metrics here that, we do, you watch, right? We do, you watch, like you watch us book appointments. And then you do, we watch, give you feedback on how your appointments sound as far as you book an appointment. I think that's a good way. But I just say the ingredient too is like you said something there that really hit my heartstring. Is like you learn by training other people, right? A lot of people do that. You don't really have to train people here. We're great traffic cops here, but I would just encourage you to recruit. And through the process of recruiting, you'll be amazed at what you will learn. You just be amazed because you're going to be a good mentor to show other people where they can go find it, and you'll be more astute because you're paying attention because you're trying to help other people, and that will actually get you better as an individual producer even quicker.
Well, I realized a long time ago that you don't necessarily need to be the guy that gets it, that actually does it. You just got to be the guy that gets it done.
Yep. Let's get it done, man. That's it. Hey, be the volcano, baby. I love it. I love it, Eric.
I'm curious about what your arrangements end up being for conference. Please let me know about that because I'm planning on making the investment to be learning from the greats face to face.
Good deal. We've got, I've got a Zoom session coming up in another 7 minutes. We're going to be ironing out some details on that. We should have something out to you guys within the next week on that.
Okay. Let Mark know because that's my direct.
I love it. I love it, man. Mark's awesome too. So, all right, guys, you got 2 minutes. Any quick questions? All right.
I'm out.
3, 2, 1. I'm gonna gavel it. You guys have a great week. Hey, new agents, go out there and do. You can do it. Recruit your tails off too. Permanent income is way better than temporary. All right. Appreciate you guys. Jeremy, gotta see you on those leaderboards, buddy. Got you, man. I can't. Can you go get me food today? Hey. Yeah, I've just got to get off this one to get on that one. So, so I'm getting ready to send you the Zoom link. Chill. Bye. Yeah. I've got a 1 o'clock in office, don't I? Yeah.
Yeah. What do you
Is
want?
that cool? Do you want a sandwich from Jersey's?
No, I'm good. I've got mine. So
You
I'm good.
sure?
Yep.
Okay.
Appreciate it,
You can take my car if you
Oh
want.
no, I'll put them on.
Here, I gotta go out to the thing. Let me send this thing for.
I got money.
No, I've got mine here. Well, I've got my card. Just use my card. Is it cold outside right now?
No.
Let me go card and get you this, okay?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I might get me a sandwich too, and then I can eat my stuff tomorrow. You know what? Don't go get your card. I can order it online. It'll be ready when I get there. And your card number, I've got it back there. Let's do that.
Is that gonna be easier?
Yep, it'll be
They
easier
don't
because
steal your information with that stuff, do they? You sure? I don't trust that stuff online. I'm telling you, I don't. But if you think they won't steal it, I'm good.
they
with it.
won't steal it.
Okay. Get me a number 7 regular on wheat bread. And onions, extra onions, lettuce, tomato, and pepper relish. And that's all. That's all I want. I don't get anything to drink or chips.
Okay,
Thanks, girl.
I'll do that.
And then
that
get
way
what you want.
It'll be ready when I get there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, can you hear me okay?
Hola, amigo.
Gotcha. I'm out walking my dog because my appointment no-showed me.
I was wondering, keep in mind, I was like, man, didn't worry about it. I was just going to have Lauren call you. Even if you couldn't get on here, I was just going to have her call you later. No worries, buddy.
Gotcha. Hey, well, it all worked out.
Hey, worked out for the good, man.
Yep. It's not a bad day when you get no-showed and you're just out walking your dog.
Hey, it's what you love about this business. At least we didn't drive out there for it, right? So
I know, right? Shoot. That appointment was about an hour drive too. So dude, I love working from home.
Hey, that beats your 4-hour drives that you and Grant used to make, dude.
I know. Today I've got an appointment booked in Maryland, one on a few hours away in Virginia.
Grant used to give me the biggest guilt trip coming back home from Delaware. He'd be like, dude, I got a 4-hour drive. And I'm like, dude, it's 10:30. He'd be like, yeah, can you stay on the phone with me a couple hours? I'd be like, dude, it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm talking to him. I was like, roll down your window, let the air freeze you. I got to go to sleep, man. You know what I mean?
I know. Those were the days he started to gain a lot of weight because he would always hit up like Royal Farms chicken places, Chick-fil-A way back home. And in Delaware, there's not a whole lot going on. It's like farmland, and then there's Royal Farms gas stations where they sell fried chicken and sandwiches and stuff. And so, dude, he must have put on 40 or 50 pounds in the few months that we were running appointments in Delaware.
Hey, Lauren saw me. I went through my big girth process. I promise you that. Don't worry, though. I'm in the big, great deflate this week. Lauren already knows. I've worked out twice, both mornings. I'm great deflate, baby. I think I've already lost 3 inches around my waist since Sunday. So.
Are you kidding, dude? I'm trying to gain weight because I'm a little scrawny turd. So I'm trying to the weight you lost, I found.
Mute the line. Mute the line.
Hey, don't worry there, 23-year-old. When you hit about 28, 29, 30.
30. A bitch hits you up the side of the head. Metabolism, man.
Yeah. You just wait, buddy.
Dude, I'm trying to gain weight. Get this. So this year, I've been doing like a combination of obviously eating a lot more, but working out. I weighed 155 last January. I weighed in at 185 yesterday. I'm not mad at that.
What? 165? And now you're 185?
I weighed 155 this time last year, and I weigh 185 now.
Oh, somebody's getting swollen up in here. Are we getting swollen? Are we getting fat or are we getting swollen?
Swollen.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, when it happens to me, that's not what's happening. I ain't going to get swollen. I'm getting fat.
Trying to swell up a little bit.
Oh, we get the swollen. When you said we were all swollen in Disney, we're like, heck yeah, we're swollen. We're like
swollen with alcohol.
With all kinds of
There's two different types of swole. There's the muscular swole, and then there's the slightly inflamed.
Promise you, we were slightly inflamed. So.
Oh, dude.
All right, Lauren, I know you're on here. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for getting on here with us. I think Newbauer's on here now. He just got in from the bank. So I'll give you guys an update where we are as far as conference and sort of what we're thinking. We've had some rethoughts about it just based on just really thinking about it and really what our main purpose is with conference. And I think maybe this will work out even better to help all of us grow the business, because certainly one of our focuses, I think, for all of us right now is growing this business. Like, we want to, like, we're certainly all headed in the right direction, but how do we grow it? How do we explode it? And so me and Lauren have really been thinking about our purpose of March 24th and 25th, and what does it actually look like, and what can we accomplish with that? And so we started really giving thought processes to how we were going to do it and what we were going to do there. So Lauren, I'll let you sort of take it off from there. I've got some notes here that I'm going to go over too, and sort of
got my notes too. So Sunday night I started working on different things for the Vegas house, like catering options, things like that. And I kept looking at the pictures and I kept thinking about it. And I was just like, my first thought that came to mind was, we're going to have to tell people no. We're going to have to tell people no, they can't come. There's not room. And I was like, I don't like that, especially when we're trying to grow a team. So that started me down a whole new path of things. You know, I started thinking about, we need a conference. It's been years. I know we all want a vacation and we will do that at some point, but we need a conference. Sorry, guys. It's what's best. People are, and then I started thinking about the people watching at home. I know, and I've done this for umpteen billion years. At home, I'm not going to focus on the conference. I'm going to be like, I'm going to listen to it and unload the dishwasher and go do some laundry and go do this and go do that. I'm going to be very distracted at home.
Absolutely.
The other thing, you know, we're also, I wanted to have as many people as we want there so we can grow and so we can get people to focus and be at a more conference atmosphere, even though it's a teleconference. So that got me thinking, where can we have a conference? And we just got back from Orlando, and I started thinking about Orlando. I was like, there's tons of hotels. It's cheap to get down to. They're a little more relaxed in Florida about things. And it's a family atmosphere. It's going to be a lot easier selling people to go down to Orlando than it is to go out to Vegas right now. You know what I mean? So, and we can kind of control it more because I'll be working with an AV team. So there won't be any issues about getting it on the screen. There's a lot of unknowns in that house. We don't know how big the casita was. We don't know what the TVs were like. We're all having to bring our laptops and trying to hook in. And I got really nervous about that. So Chris, anything you want to join in about reasons?
No, I just say reminder for all of us in business. Like, it's like, you know, if we're thinking about conference in March in 24th and 25th, it's basically, guys, it's a Zoom session. I mean, in the end, it's a Zoom session conference. Don't get me wrong, we're all going to enjoy it. We are our leaders. We love that type of stuff. We know we're going to get stuff out of it, and we know SFG is going to do it to the nines. We know all that. But just like Lauren just said, I want to reemphasize this, is like, we also know, okay, hey, I've got 22 people on there, and you know, it's just like the new agent call I just hosted. I spent the last 3 minutes deleting the people that didn't even know I finished it. Y'all with me? Like, you probably hosted something before. And so, and you know, Elijah, you can appreciate that, right, buddy? Like, anybody gets what I'm saying right
That's
there.
why I tell people, hey, you need to turn your camera on and unmute yourself if we're doing this, because it's an engaging call.
Amen. The problem is they won't even be able to do that with what SFG is going to do. So we realize engagement's not going to be near as much. So one thing that we know, all of you powerful leaders, growing organizations, one thing we could control, if we put them in an environment where they can come, have a conference around a conference, but we're not going to do like, dude, we're talking maybe if their conference starts at 4 to 8, we may have a little thing where 3 of you do a thing from before they open up theirs and maybe a couple of little speeches afterwards, but that's it. We're not trying to overload people, but then they still have all the other interaction that they would have had with the conference before, where they get to hang out with all of us and control that environment. But we're thinking, instead of the Vegas house, which we would be very limited with space. And it's not right now, it's not about just us all hanging out together. It's not. Our business isn't there yet. Now, we can have one of those and we can schedule one of those again, but it's about how many people can we get around all of us. Y'all with me? And create an energy, because if we're going to explode a business, guys, none of you can be coming in with, oh, I got 50 people going to be on a Zoom session. If you got 50 people going to be on a Zoom session, you ain't going to have a business. And I'm just, let's be real with it. Because the numbers aren't going to be, it's like, 50 people would equate to maybe 2 or 3 people there. Where if a live conference is every, what was the metrics, Lauren? Every 10 people equated to a 50,000. What?
It's
50,000 organization.
50,000. And so I want to recapture some of that magic. And I wanted the ability, what me and Lauren started thinking, if our purpose is to grow, we're inhibiting our growth by where we're setting it up at. And so right now, I would rather focus on a growth opportunity and look at this as a way to, the Gillums bring 50 people live to a conference. You with me? You know, Zorn, 50 people live, Carujo, 50 people live, Martinez, 50 people live. And for some of you, get ambitious, because I believe you're the type of leaders can bring 100. You just got to get people recruiting. So it could be 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. But my point being is, I think that should be more of our focus right now. We can schedule a fun time to go out and do something. We can all go out in desert. We can still do all that stuff. That can still be on the table. We just got to focus on what is our purpose of this. And that's why, you know, Lauren came up with that, and I was really in agreement. I'm going to get with Kevin Purdy today. They just hosted a conference down there. I'm going to see how big it was. I'm going to see the parameters, how many people we can put in a room type deal. Lauren's going to get with them. So we still have even more feedback to give you guys from that. But that's currently where our thought process is. Lauren, before we take it to the team, is there anything else you wanted to add there?
Yeah, no, I was playing around with, some of the things, we can book the room from 3 to 9 so everybody can get there early. We can do some speaking, some recognition before the meeting, have the meeting, close it out. Everybody can, chit chat for a few minutes and then move on. And then, we can do a welcome reception before, kind of what SFG does the day before. Mornings, you can do team building with your team, because you'll have all the way till 3 on that. You can do dinners afterwards for more time. And then Friday, we can even do a big team building day then as well.
Something fun. Right?
Something fun. But I just think as much as I want to hang out with all of you all, that's not what's best for our team members. So I think we need to step back and look at it as that, and make it as much of a live conference as we can, and kind of recapture that magic. You guys know what kind of boost we always have after these conferences, and I think this is the best way to capture that. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah. So what's some thoughts from some of you guys?
On the second day, since we have until 3 p.m. would we only have, so just kind of like making sure I can follow you guys here. On the second day, we would only have the room also from 3 to 9 or 2 to 9?
3 to 9.
3 to 9. Okay. Cause I was wondering, is there any way that we could create our own level of breakout sessions or something where maybe we could have like a small couple rooms where they can choose if they wanted to learn about one topic at a certain time, just an idea out there. Not sure.
We might be able to do that. We're going to find out more about what the conference is going to look like here in a little bit. So we'll find out more if that's feasible.
Put it down on your notes, Lauren.
Yeah,
that
we can put
would
it
be
down and
something
check
we
into
asked
it.
about.
Yeah.
This would be a lot cheaper than Vegas too.
Yes, it will be.
Way cheaper.
You won't be paying $1,200 for just a bedroom. You can actually get bang for your buck. We can also do, everybody can do their own contest. I've asked for some suites to be thrown into the quote. Basically what they do, they give me a room block and they give me a price. Right now, most of the rooms are running $149 a night, and suites are around $189 that we would pay. So we can do some suite contest. We can do some all kinds of stuff.
Are we thinking about staying at the same place we just stayed at?
Yes,
that place is nice, guys. That place is really, really nice for $149 a night.
It's like $350 a night hotel that you get for $149.
And there's a great pool there in case, you guys want to have after conference, a little hangout by the pool. Got a nice pool there.
There's 5 or 6 different restaurants.
There's pool tables, there's ping pong, there's like large chess on the ground.
People
Like,
could
it's-
also bring their families here. This is so for those people that didn't want to leave their families, they would have opportunities to do that while they did their breakout sessions. So
And I will say this, I think the advantage of this too, because we could not, you know, the good part is we won't have to turn anybody away. How many people that we're recruiting are just craving? They haven't been able to go anywhere on even vacation for the last year, that they could now come here, maybe still bring their family if they want to. It's okay if they don't. I mean, I'm not looking to make it that, but I'm just saying that are just craving to get away, and this would give an opportunity, and we won't have to tell anybody no. I mean, you know what I mean? We won't have to, and we could create that magic that could be created with all of us together. You know what I mean? And also, they're still getting the magic of an Ed Pritchett. They're getting the magic of a Matthew McConaughey. They're getting the magic. You know who that was, Jordan? That was McConaughey. I asked him to check us out for a minute to see what the group looked like. That's who Matthew was a minute ago.
Lying, you lying
No,
son of a gun.
No, I talked to him. I talked to him this morning. I
don't even believe
You know what? I
that.
absolutely
Nope.
don't believe you.
I
know.
There is so little you're going to do to make me think that that was really him. He's not going to put his name on here with lowercase letters. That's not who Matthew McConaughey would be.
He'd also turn his camera on.
No, I don't believe you. Don't say that, because I'm actually trying to believe you.
Shade.
All right, I'll let him tell you all himself then. My bad. He's a cool dude though. Y'all like him. Cool dude.
So
It
does
just,
anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
Yeah, I mean, just a comment. I mean, obviously, I'm sure the other guys are bummed too, but I'm bummed that, you know, it seems like Vegas is off the table. I think just random thoughts shooting from the hip here. I think with the house, my thought is it's large enough where we wouldn't necessarily have to tell anybody no. Obviously, we'd have to tell no for people who would stay in the house. But I would think that would be structured around a contest. So that's a privilege, it's earned, it's whatever, to be able to actually stay in the house. But as far as people attending the actual hours of the conference at the house, I think it's large enough. There would be plenty of TVs in the house where we may not be able to all be together in the casita, but we could be in different areas. And it would be, as far as connection and something super, super special, it would just be off the chart as far as unique and special. Whereas a ballroom is not necessarily unique and special. Of course, being around the people is fantastic and like the highlight, but I don't know. I think it would just be a really unique experience, like over the top, crazy, cool. And I don't think we'd have to limit it. So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Obviously, I'm a team player. I'm not 100% on board. I'm going to support what we all decide collectively, but that's my thought, guys. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed if we don't do that.
I know we will do Vegas. I promise we will rent that house. It's just not for this conference. I promise we'll with it. Maybe we can have Brian Williams come in and do a group giant thing. Like those are things we're thinking of and we will do for the house, but we would have to limit the number of people that could come in for that. And I would hate to invite 25 people, all be jammed in different places on top of the 25 that are staying there. And then our TVs don't work. We're having problems connecting. That would be super bad. And also, I don't want just 25 people there. I want 100 people there because we need to grow and I need to get my people moving. So that's the limiting factor with it. I mean,
so did they actually say that it's limited to 50 people in the house at a time? Is that what the limit is?
well, that's just the limit for space and everything like that. I don't want to invite somebody to a conference and be like, stand in the corner because that's all that there's left. And like I said, there's just too many unknowns with that. With this, I can have AV people talk to SFG's AV people and it'll run smoothly and perfectly.
And I will say this, and this is for all you guys, it's like, I'm not looking, guys, if we're serious about building a business, I'm not looking for 50 people. I'm not looking for 75. I'm looking for 200 or 300. And that, I mean, if we're serious about building a business and actually making this thing where we want to get it, Joe, you want a $2.5 million organization this year? Joe Martinez alone would need 100 people at this. That's what we got to get real as leadership, is like huddling up 25, 50 people isn't going to get, if our purpose is to grow, we can no longer accept that we're bringing 25 people to a conference as a group and call ourselves. I'm just saying we have to take the next step. So Joe Martinez, if he wants 2.5 million, he's got to bring 100 people to conference, because without that, he doesn't have a shot. And the good part is he has the team and the investment to get 100 people at conference 2 months from now, because he's doing 1,000. Jeffrey Miller's doing 1,000. Christian Miller's doing 1,000. He's got the organization and the bandwidth to make that happen. And so Joe, you know, I'm just saying for you, buddy, it's like you could bring 100 people to this, and pretty darn easily, because you got a team of people. It's all it is. You break it down. Joe, you bring 30. Jeff brings 30. Christian brings 30. And then you got somebody else that starts that brings another 10. Boom. You brought 100. And
What are other organizations doing?
Do what?
What are other organizations doing?
Some of them have already hosted their own conference leading up to it. And some of them are actually, I've talked to Kyle Kimbrell, some of them are actually looking at doing what we're doing.
And then they're in Florida, we can get groups of 100 or more together.
That's what we're looking into.
They allow it?
Yeah. Because I have to submit proposals to all these hotels, and I have to give them all of our information. So Florida's a lot more relaxed. That's why, and we don't have to deal with weather issues. Like there's a lot of, you know, biscuit things to look at with those. So, but yeah. And like we said, the Purdy's just did a conference down there, so we're going to get some information from them. But
I think it promotes uniformity with the way that Symmetry does things. You know what I mean? Really the only time that Symmetry tried throwing a party for conference was the 10-year anniversary. You know, every other conference we've done was in a more, you know, business setting in a ballroom. So, you know, I mean, as much as I want to throw a huge party with my friends and my family and my business partners, and I'm not saying that that's what it was about. It wasn't about throwing a huge party. It is about attending a conference. I just, you know, I think it would be great, but I don't think it promotes where we're trying to go and really maximizing on conference itself. You know, that would feel more like a retreat rather than a conference.
and we can do that at a later point. I promise we will go to that house someday. It's just not for right now.
Yeah, I like the idea, guys. If you can hear me, I apologize. I multitasking was on hold with the bank. I'm at the gym. Guys, thanks for putting so much thought into everything that we do. First and foremost, I have to admit, I'm sure Joe and Val agree. I'm pretty disappointed we have to get on a plane now instead of drive to Vegas.
I know.
But someday us West Coasters will be vindicated. No, I get it. The financial world and East Coast world. I love the idea of a room block. I think we can still make it special. And like you said, it does give us somewhat unlimited capacity. And this goes without saying, so maybe I'm just saying out loud what's already known, but I guess the only thing that concerns me is the pandemic is so unpredictable. I mean, I'm going to get yelled at any second for not having this on. But, you know, with travel and everything else, and Florida has historically been pretty much one of the more lenient states. I guess I'm just saying that out loud to say it. I think recruiting is just going to be that much tougher because we've got that many more excuses to plow through. And so, you know, if this is the way that we are going collectively, I think we really have to act as if it's, you know, it's not an option unless somebody expresses concerns for safety, and just brainstorm the heck out of this so that each and every individual AO or key leader meeting we have with our people, every call we have from here on out, I mean, it's just got to be, guys, plan on it. You know, tickets get more expensive to fly as you get closer to the date. Again, I'm just kind of preaching to the choir here, but I think we've had so much ramp up for conference prior years when there was conference, and everything was quote unquote normal. And that was kind of tough to recruit for. A welcome challenge. I was always the top recruiter, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying, I think we need to put a lot of capital E for effort into making sure they see this concretely, you know, what we're doing once we decide what it is we're doing, for what it's worth.
Most every airline right now has free changes if something happened and somebody had to cancel. That's not an issue. The hotels do similar the same thing, and I'll ask them about that to make sure that there's some type of clause in there if somebody did get I feel safer, honestly, when we were on the Disney property than I do going to my local Walmart, because they're super careful about everything.
Isn't that every day?
No
What?
joke. Go ahead, Mark.
I said, isn't that every day?
Yeah.
Disney safer than Walmart.
No, like no joke. Chris and I got in a fist fight. Stop, girls, stop. Chris and I got in a fist fight at Epcot because this is what we do, and they yelled at Chris for his mask being off, not for hitting a woman. So, like that's the level of anal retentiveness that we're dealing with in Florida.
Again, Florida.
I'll chokehold you next time, Joy.
Dude, you totally lost that. I'm just saying.
So, and we'll if somebody is like adamant about not going and they haven't left their house, then obviously I'm not going to push it. But I think most people right now are ready to move on. A lot more vaccines have come out. I've traveled on almost every airline. Haven't had any issues or nervous points or anything like that. So traveling's not as scary as people make it out to be right now.
And I would say this, and I want you guys to know my philosophy, Mark. If I talk to a new recruit and if he has concerns about it, I just say, don't come. I say, just hop on a Zoom. Like, I'm not going to force anybody, but I promise you, I think actually it's the opposite. I think more people are craving interaction. More people are craving for a reason to go. And I've already looked up, everybody will have access to the vaccine by mid-April in the United States. So 80% of the people, if they wanted the vaccine by the end of March, will have already had, if they want it. I'm not taking it. So
I ain't taking that shit either.
Oh my God,
I'm not taking it. But I'm saying, if you run into somebody that has a concern, here's my thing. Absolutely. Just stay at home and watch it on there. Like, I wouldn't fight them a bit, won't do anything there, won't think anything less about them. But I promise you this, I think if we recruit right with the right attitude and the right thought process, buddy, I think we actually recruit more than we've ever had. And I think it'll be the easiest it's ever been to get people there, because people haven't spent money on travel in a year.
And it's such a nice place too, to really put our name behind, where they're looking at doing this. It's such a beautiful place. And I mean, I'm for it 100%. Don't get me wrong. I know I want to spend time with all of my people, all of you guys. I missed you all so much when we were there. They could tell you hands down how many times I brought you guys up, like how much I wish you guys were there. So I know we'll still be able to have fun, and we'll get that done this year. But I think you guys are on the right track and follow 100% about what your goals are with what we're doing.
And I would love to go to the West Coast and do a meeting. Chris and I adore California. Like, we love that stuff, but that stuff's locked down right now. So
Hey,
please
elect somebody different is what I
would much rather go to the West Coast. How about the West Coast? Open up.
So help us out.
It's just it's much more relaxed about Orlando, but I think they do a very good job of taking everybody's concerns into place, things like that. So yeah.
Well, my thought is, now that we're looking at it as a real conference like that, the value of somebody, what do I get to tell an agent, hey, come associate with us, right? But is what do they gain going to Florida from watching it from their home? You know, like I think we should really look at doing something earlier for sure, some kind of training, some kind of
That's what I'm
something
saying.
that, you know what I mean? Something so that I can say, well, you're not going to get that from home,
Right.
would be my only concern right now. I want to be able to tell them, hey, we're going to be teaching these, you know, like we did in regular conference, right? Regular conference, we were able to say, hey, you get to sign up, you get to associate with these people and sign up for these classes. You go over, you know, getting the breakout sessions. So
That's
That's a
what I
great
was,
point.
why I brought it up, is I feel
that
like
would be
we
my
really
thought
make
right
it
there.
special by doing it at a hotel. If, you know, if we all can brainstorm together and work together. I know, Lauren, we're in like the beginning stages of getting some kind of cost margin of, you know, what would we be looking at an itinerary? And I think we really all could come together and make something really special like that for the people who show up.
We could do a producer workshop day before. I've heard of a lot of people doing producer workshops lately, at least in my area, a couple agency owners. Something we could add to it to make it worth the trip, because it's worth the trip for us because we all know each other. But for a brand new agent who doesn't know the value of seeing people in person and they've never met anybody, I could see showing the value being a little bit difficult.
Well, I would say, think back about what conference is meant for you, because that's what we're recreating, that the interactions, being there in person, to be able to focus, not have the distractions in the background, getting to spend time, grabbing a drink with Elijah or talking to Jordan over lunch. Like, those are the things that we're talking about. We're going to treat it like a regular conference because, think about it. Most of the time, people are just watching it on the big screens anyway at a conference because it's so big. They're not down in front with the AOs and stuff like that. It's no difference than a regular conference. It's just they're not going to see the tiny stage way up front. They're just going to have the screens. And I wanted to do a welcome reception the night before so everybody could come in a relaxed atmosphere, chit chat, do all that fun stuff. There at the hotel. Things like that. So I would just, focus on it as it's a real conference for us. This is how we're going to treat it. And just, talk to them about what it's meant for you and your business, getting to be around other people in the business.
We could do an intimate morning meeting. Like the next morning, everyone can just grab a coffee and meet up somewhere on the property and just share our whys or something like that. But really, I think it does offer a lot of opportunity for connection with keeping the business as the focal point. You know what I mean? Not so much of, drinking with one hand and drinking with the other hand as well.
Yeah. In a pool. But you guys will have the ability to do that with all your teams, getting together, some huddle ups with your teams, some things like that. Those are all things that you'll be able to do. So those are important things, that we've always gotten a lot out of during conference, those face-to-face interactions.
Is that the 1 o'clock?
Yeah. Someone in the lobby.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Anything you want to add?
No, I'm good. So we'll get to work on that. I'm going to get with the Purdy's this afternoon to see some logistic stuff there. Lauren, I know you've got several hotels that you got that stuff out to, and then we'll huddle up when we have some more details. Is that good?
I like it.
Is there anything that we can do in the meanwhile to make things easier on you? Like, would you prefer for us in our text group to brainstorm ways to make conference special and treat it as a real conference? Or how do you guys feel like we could be doing something to make this easier?
If you've thought of anything, if you want to shoot me an email, that way I can keep it in one place. I lose text messages for some reason. So
yeah.
What?
Now, here's what I want you guys focused on. Okay. And this is real. It's not the content of the conference that's going to make conference. It's going to be how many people y'all have at conference. So if y'all want to brainstorm right now, brainstorm how to grow your businesses with more people. That's what I want you guys to do. You guys need to be recruiting. It's not, hey, we're going to have the collaboration with you guys, but right now I want y'all to get focused on what can you do to recruit more people, what can you do to have more people recruit. And once we get the logistics of this work out, we'll collaborate, we'll get some of that. But I really want you guys just, how can I get more people? Because if you guys want the numbers that you say, million plus organizations, it's going to take tons of people at conference. And I promise you, we could not add a thing to it, have a video down there and have the association with you guys, and that be enough for it to be a freaking awesome conference. Because it's about them watching the conference, and then it's about them hanging out with Jordan Gillum afterwards and talking to Jordan Gillum and being like, hey, Jordan, how do you do this? And her group getting to talk to her. It's about that with Mark Newbauer. And so focus on what you guys can do about getting more people to it, and brainstorm about that. And that's where I want you guys focused to be, because it's like, Joe, if you're serious about 2.5, it's got to be serious about 100 people there at conference. And already start building that would just be my main focus right now for all of you guys.
And I've asked for all the hotels to have their proposals back to us by the end of this week. So I go through them as soon as I get them, but then I'll narrow it down and start negotiations, because they send a proposal and then I go back and negotiate with them, is how it works. They send their first thing and then I have to go back and then they have to go back. So, I'm hoping by the beginning of next week to have some stuff in place.
And so you think, when can we huddle back up with everybody?
Let me see what I get back. If I could get back some stuff sooner, we may be able to do it again at the end of this week, if not Monday.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to get back with all you guys by the end of the week and give you guys some more thing there. And I just, pray we can give you that stuff really quick, because I've got a lot of meetings today, but I've got a lot of stuff in between that I'm going to do some meetings with that. But I just think we could make it special together as a team if we focus on getting a lot of people there. So, but also we got to see if there's any parameters. So, right. So thank you guys. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the stuff. Anything else, Lauren? Appreciate y'all.